What's up guys, it's Cobalt here. Welcome back to another video. I know this sounds redundant at this point because I've actually been doing a video like this every single day this week because I know a lot of people are on break for Thanksgiving. But anyways, I'm once again going to be showing you some more of the custom commissions that I have done. These are all still back from 2024, and if you'd like to commission me yourself, you can do so by clicking my Etsy link down below in the description. Anyways, let's get right on into it. Next up, we have another set of 3 commissions for somebody. So these are from another returning customer, and if you've been keeping up with these videos, this is the same person that commissioned me for my other most recent Great Dane custom. But anyways, as always, I will start in order of which one I finished first, which was this gray Great Dane. I think he's very cool. All of these guys are just simple repaints. This one I'd say is the most simple, but he does stand out because of his cool scars and the nose ring, which again is just painted on a flat. Here is the reference for this character that was sent to me. But other than that, not too much to say about it, but he does of course have some little paw pads on the bottom. I decided to add that onto all of these customs. And then as for the second one, it is this Timberwolf. All of these are on fake bases, by the way. Again, just a simple repaint. I think this one's probably my favorite. I really like the design and I really like the color palettes as well. And I think his red eyes are super striking. Here's the reference again for this guy. And he also has some paw pads on the bottom in the same color as the Great Dane. And then finally, we have the other Great Dane. I'd say this one is probably the most detailed just because of all of his spots. So that's why it took me the longest. I do really like this one's orange eyes. I think that's probably my favorite part of him. But I just think that this one turned out really, really cool. And again, we've got some paws on the bottom. And here is the reference sheet that was sent for this one. So once again, here is all 3 of them together. And immediately following that up, we have another set of 3 customs. These ones are also from a returning commissioner. So thank you so much for commissioning me once again. And of course, we'll start off with the one that I finished first, which is this black Collie right here. So they're all made from fake Collie bases, but with slight variations. This one is a paw-up Collie, and this is what it looks like. These were kind of all inspired by human characters that this person has, and then I redesigned them into LPS forms for them. This guy's super cool. I love his 2 different colored eyes. It's probably my favorite part of him. Other than that, it's pretty simple with just some black and brown patterning to him. Then for the next one, we have this ear up Collie. It is also fairly simple with some yellow and brown patterning. This one has bright green eyes, which I really like. I think this one actually might be my favorite. I just really like the way that his design is painted on, and both of these ones do have paw pads on them as well. And same with the final one, which is this red and orange character. This one was a lot of fun. I had to mix the base colors, and I think that this one's design is also really cool. I like all the different shades of orange that he has going on, and I really like how the blue eyes complement the base pattern as well. So yeah, not too much to say. And then he has some black paw pads on the bottom. And of course, once again, here are how all 3 of them look together. Next up, we have a set of 2 commissions for somebody over on Etsy, and these ones are pretty much finished at exactly the same time. So I'll just talk about this one first since it's the most simple. These are both gifts for somebody from the commissioner, and this one is of the person's pet cat. It is a head swap of a Persian cat head on a Wolfcat body, and I did end up sculpting a bit. I sculpted some extra fluff on the neck, and then on the tip of the tail, I sculpted this little bit just to give it sort of a more curly shape, which I think is really cute. Since it was so simple, I did want to add stuff like that and just kind of figure out how to make the design a bit more unique. So it also, of course, has these little paws, these 2 little eyebrows, and then there is some glitter in the eyes as well. But yeah, this one is very simple. This one is a lot more complicated. This is of the person's OC, so here is the reference sheet that was sent to me for this character. I really like her design. I think it's super cool, and I love the colors. The eyes were also a lot of fun to create. I was kind of worried about the eyes because they looked a bit strange at first, but once I added the eyelashes, I think that they turned out pretty well. And for this one, the only things that are sculpted is the hair here, the 2 ear piercings, the 2 eyebrows, and the tongue. And this is of course made from a Siberian Husky base. And as always, here are the little paw pads on the bottom of this one. Next up, we have this commission, which I absolutely love. I think that the design is so creative, and as an LPS custom, it just looks so unique compared to anything else that I've ever made. And I'm also obsessed with this head swap. I'm definitely planning on using it for one of my OCs. But here's the reference sheet that this person sent me. Again, this was a commission for somebody over on Etsy. It is a fake Wolfcat head on a authentic G7 Jaguar body. For the sculpting, this one actually has a lot of sculpting going on. The main first thing that I sculpted was just some clay right here to make this part flat, because the character kind of only really has one eye, and it's not really like a normal eye either, as you can see. And then also on the head, I sculpted the hair, which I really like. I sculpted these 2 little tufts of fur here on the sides of the ears, as well as the fluff on the cheeks. And then of course, this cool witch hat that it has. I made it a little bit smaller than it is in the reference sheet, but I think that it still works. And then of course, on the body, it has this cool shiny spike collar, these shiny claws, and some extra tufts of fur on the chest as well. It also has these interesting shoes, some more fluff on the back of the body, and then also some fluff on the tail to give it a little bit more fluffiness, which I also really like because Jaguars have very thin tails. I really like the way that this tail turned out. But yeah, I think this is an absolute S tier head swap, and I was so excited to make it into a custom. Again, love this one so much, and I really hope that the commissioner likes it as well. And I'm really hoping that I got all the details right because this is a very, very detailed character. Alright, I had to zoom way out for this one because as you can see, we have 4 customs here. I think this is probably my largest commission order so far, but I really love the way that all of the customs look together, and I think they look pretty cohesive, and I think it will look really cool in this commissioner's home. So anyways, let's start off with the very first custom that I finished. This one was actually originally ordered separately from the other 3, but then the commissioner came back like a day later and ordered the others, so I just decided that I would finish them all at the same time since, again, they were roughly ordered around the same time as well. So anyways, this is a custom of Art the Clown from the Terrifier films. I had actually never seen the movies before making this custom, but I've been wanting to watch them for a really long time, so this commission actually gave me the perfect opportunity to go watch those movies. And they're definitely not for everybody, but I thoroughly enjoyed them, especially the second one. But anyways, because of that, I had even more fun making this custom of Art, and this one also was very nostalgic for me because it reminds me a lot of the old Pennywise custom that I made. That custom's like extremely old, it's from around 2018, but it's still one of my favorites, and I feel like he was made in a similar way as this, with very few sculpting and a lot of the details just come out in the paint. I sculpted his little hat and the neck ruffle along with a little pom-pom on his chest, which you can't really see because it's kind of blending into the black, and everything else is painted. And then of course I made sure to go way overboard with the blood, so he's got a lot of blood on his face and some blood on his hands as well. And here's how the bottom looks. Yeah, very fun custom to make. He looks very disgusting and I absolutely love it. Anyways, let's get on to the next ones. So these 2 customs sort of go together, so I will show them together. These customs are of 2 of the people from the band Insane Clown Posse. Not really music that I have listened to, so I don't really know too much about the background on these guys, but I do think that they translated very, very well into LPS Customs. He is made from a Greyhound base, and the only things that I sculpted on him were his shirt and his pants. Everything else is just painted. This dude had like a buzz cut, so painting the hair was pretty easy, although I did end up texturing it, so there's sort of like a bunch of little tiny different colors in there as well. And I really like the way that his face came out, same with the eyes. I decided to make the little eye shines very small to sort of make all 3 of these more cohesive, especially with Art as well, since he just has much smaller eyes. I thought this would help unify them as well. And then he also has this gold chain on his neck that I added last minute just because I thought that it looked good, and I noticed that he did have a chain in some of the photos. So now for the second guy, he is made from a Great Dane base, and again, similar sculpting. I sculpted the shirt and the pants. He also has the gold chain, but then he also has longer hair, so I sculpted his hair as well. His face makeup was a lot more intricate to paint, but I think that it turned out really well, and I'm pretty happy with how symmetrical both of them turned out, and I actually really like them. And I'm also very happy with this custom. This custom is the lead singer for this band. Again, not something that I was familiar with before getting this commission, so I can't really say too much on that, but I think that they translated extremely well into an LPS custom. This one is also made from a Great Dane. I sculpted this little strip of clay here to sort of make the hood that he has, and then I also sculpted these little shoulder pad things and the clothes as well, although everything on the body is pretty much black. There's just a little bit of paint here and there to sort of separate it from the body and give it a little more depth, but a lot of the detail is here on the face as well as in the eyes. I couldn't tell what eye color the person had, so I just decided to make them red because I thought it would look cool on the LPS version, and you know, also ties into all this really sick face paint. But yeah, I hope that I got all of the details on here, and again, I think he translated very, very nicely into an LPS custom. So once again, here are all 4 of these customs together, and I really, really appreciate the commissioner ordering so many at one time. This was a very fun order to complete, and I really hope that they like them all. This next commission is a very exciting one because it is my very first ever Shark LPS custom, and if you know me, you know that I absolutely love Shark LPS even long before the new G7 hype with the sharks. Obviously, this is a G7 Shark base. I'm very glad that I finally got the chance to customize one because of the G7 LPS. But anyways, this is a simple realistic style one of a black tip reef shark, and you can see all the little details that I added in the skin, as well as some extra little glossy spots that I added on the top as well, just to give it some more visual interest. You know, you can turn it and like see the little details up there by the fin, and the bottom fins also have them as well. And then it has these nice little blue eyes. I thought that blue would be a good color for this shark's eyes, and yeah, other than that, not too much to say about this one. He's fairly simple and didn't take me too long to paint. This is another commission of somebody's pet dog, once again painted in my realistic style, and this one is also a head swap custom. So the person's dog is a beagle, but I didn't really feel like the beagle LPS base fitted, so I opted for a dachshund head on a boxer body, and I think that it turned out really well. I think that this base figure is actually really, really cute as a head swap, and definitely something that I would like to use again. I honestly feel like the boxer dog body is very underrated. I just really like how spread apart the legs are, and it's like got a very wide stance, and I feel like there's a lot you can do with that. But anyways, it's just a simple little brown and white dog. Again, none of the realistic customs take me too long to paint, so I did this one in a couple of days, but to be honest, I could probably just sit down and paint this all in one sitting. He also has some little black paws on the bottom, and I made sure to get all of the different little spots on the back, so you can see there's a couple white spots there as well. And then for the eyes, I just did what I sort of always do. I feel like every time I paint realistic customs, I do their eyes a little bit differently, but this is how this one's eyes turned out. Just some cute little brown eyes. He's also got all of his little freckles on his muzzle, and yeah, I really like this one, and definitely a head swap that I hope to use again in the future. I absolutely love the way that this commission came out. It was super fast and super fun to make. It is made from a Gecko LPS base, and I don't actually think I've ever customized this type of LPS before. I know I've done an iguana, but I do not think I've used a Gecko. So now I officially have. He is just a simple repaint in my realistic style, although he does have a couple small sculpted parts. I decided to sculpt this little tongue because a lot of the reference photos that the commissioner sent me of their pet gecko had his tongue out, and I thought that was a very adorable detail, so I decided to include it. I also added these two sets of spiked ridges above the eyes because I also wanted to just make the base look a little bit more like their pet, because it was a more specific type of gecko that I didn't really feel like this base 100% represented. So that was just me adding some extra little details to try to make this guy as accurate as possible. And then for the actual paint job, I paid close attention to the placement of all of these little spots that the gecko had, and then added a bunch of little details. So you can see there's some other yellow spots here and there just to add some more scales. And I also took a little bit of my gloss glaze, and you can see that I sort of added some little shiny spots on there as well. You can also see there's some here on the head, and I did my best to make the eyes also extremely glossy. You can see how shiny they are, and I put a lot of details in the eyes as well. Basically, this was just a super fun custom to make, and I would love to do more lizard customs in the future. As always, let me know which of the customs from today's video was your favorite, and I will see you guys all tomorrow with another one of these videos, so please be sure to come back. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all then. Bye!